Good morning, and you're listening to RNE Radio. I'm your host for this morning, Rainiel, also known as Rain Alabao. Let's have a time check. Time check is 10:59 a.m. in the morning, brought to you by Swatch Philippines. And I'm back again, and you're listening to RNE Radio. Later, we'll be having three guests and we'll talk about a certain matter that I think all will relate, especially at this time. But first, we'll talk about and define more of social media. We all know that social media is a big help to humanity. We use social media in our everyday life. It's like social media already have a big part in our life. But we should accept the fact that there are pros and cons involved in it. So, listeners, I think that you're using also social media. So, later, I think you will relate with the discussion that we'll talk about. Now, I think it's time to introduce our guest. First, we have Miss Eliza Yolores from Imus Cavite.
Hi guys, it's me, May.
So that's our first guest, Miss Eliza Yolores. Let's go on our second guest, Mr. Ricky Pagkaliwangan.
Hello guys, my name is Ricky.
So Ricky Pagkaliwangan is from Sunnybrook, General Trias, Cavite. And now, last but not the least, we have our last guest for today, for this morning, Miss Elijah Carillo.
Good morning, listeners. I'm Eli.
So again, that's our three guests. Again, the first one is Miss Eliza Yolores. Second, Sir Ricky Pagkaliwangan. Then the third is Miss Elijah Carillo. So good morning, Miss Eliza. So we'll talk about a certain topic, which is social media threat. So what is your saying about this social media threat?
So yes, now that you have discussed what is the importance of social media, now is the three of us will discuss the different threats of using social media. So I'll give one. So for my topic, one of the social media threats of social media is of course social media as a medium of spreading spam or malware. So, not literally spam that we eat, spam, meatloaf. No. But kidding aside, um, you know, spam or malware is also nowadays is the fake news, right? So, we all familiar of Mocha Uso naman, di ba? The one who started fake news, di ba? So, yon. Enough of the babbling. Here's the serious talk about the issue. So now, spreading fake news. So fake news, it's like, it's not the true news, but it's the news that does not have enough evidence or proof. Or the news that came from not reliable source. Fake news is like fabricated and edited news that we all know. Why do they spread fake news? Simply because they want the people to mislead their beliefs and attention about the certain news. Or maybe it's because they're biased. So now that our listener already grasped the meaning of fake news, and now, yun nga.
So yon, thank you, Miss Eliza Yolores. So you're not done yet, so
Yes. So, now that, again, our listener already know the fake news is now, we all know that fake news can easily spread because of social media. By just a single post, then all of our netizens will immediately know the news. Especially if it came from a reliable or some media influencer, right? So, because they know that it's true and it's because of reliable source, they become retweeting it, reposting it, sharing it to others. That's why the fake news are really getting big as it's now all know by the any people around the world. So that is one of the social media threat that we have. Thank you, Rain.
So, I think you're already done, Miss Yulares, about your insight about this social media threat. But let me ask you first a question. Do you use social media?
Yes, of course. I think everyone uses naman, di ba?
Yeah. But what is the reason for using this social media?
For entertaining, when you're bored, you just like have to scroll your feeds on your Facebook or your Twitter.
So, I think I get your point, Miss Elijah Lores. But going to the next, or going to our next guest, let me have first a commercial. I'll be right back.
Ako si Mr. Bayong, walang takot sa putik. Astig ako di mahuhuli, kaya damit laging puti. Putik! Mahirap nang paputiin to! Gulat ka, no? Sa Tide 6, konting kusot lang, todo puti na. Todo puti, sa Tide Mananyan.
And I'm back! Your host, Rainiel Albao. And that commercial is brought to you by Tide Commercial. Next, I think I would like to introduce again our next guest, Mr. Ricky Pagkaliwangan. So, I'll make the microphone to you. So, what's your insight or what's your saying about this social media threat?
Good morning, listeners. I will discuss to you about the celebrity name misuse. Celebrity name misuse was one of the popular kind of social threats nowadays, where there are social media hackers that is creating fake account under the name of a celebrity that they are going to spread fake informations and rumors in social media to attract more followers, and later it will be spammed. The right of publicity is a right of every person to control and make money from the commercial of his or her identity. I will discuss to you how to prevent it.
So I think you're done with it. Thank you, Sir Pagkaliwangan, for your insight about one of the social media threat. Next, I would like to call the attention of Mr. Elijah Carillo. Miss Elijah Carillo, rather. So here's the stage or the mic for you. I'll give.
So, hi there. Good morning, listeners. So, from what we heard from Miss Eliza and Mr. Ricky, they talk about the different types of social media threat. So, for my side, I will talk about the phishing attack. It is a kind of social media threat that uses a fake website or email that looks like the legitimate one but uses a different URL, which makes the victim trust the site. The word phishing was coined from the term fishing or catching a fish, because the attacker uses a bait to get sensitive information from the victim like its username, password, and credit card credentials. When you became a victim of phishing scam, it includes anxiety and you can also lose a huge amount of money. Well, these days we know that we can easily buy stuff from the internet by doing online shopping. If you're a regular online shopper, you use your card to transact with the seller. When you're on a phishing site, they can get your credit card credentials and money through that site. So it's like you need to verify first the site that you're going to enter your personal information so that you cannot be a victim of phishing attack. It's a very common social media threat nowadays because it is being developed all the time. So that's all.
So thank you, our three guests. But I think that's not all for this morning. I would like to before this interview end, I would like to have a commercial again. This is Milo.
Want to learn the all-new champ moves? Let me show it to you. Just follow the arrows and instructions on your screen. Low energy, matamlay, low focus ka, baka energy gap, yeah. 4 out of 5 kids have it. Energize! Start your day the champion way. Healthy energy, energy gap, be energy gap, be a champion every day. Champion every day. Be energy, energy gap, be energy gap, be a champion every day. Champion every day. Get winning energy, ready for school and play. Be a champ every day.
And I'm back again, your host, Rainy Alvao. Again, you're listening to RNE Radio. So, like what I've said before this talk ends, I would like to give some possible solutions, recommendations, suggestions coming from our three guests. So, listeners, lend us your ears. First, Miss Carillo.
So, hello again, listeners. I'm back and I'm going to talk about the ways to prevent on being a victim of a phishing scam. There are different ways to prevent you from being a victim of phishing attack. First, you need to be informed about phishing techniques because these are being developed all the time, just like what I said earlier. Be aware of the news about new phishing scams. You can also install an anti-phishing toolbar that runs a quick check to identify if the website that you're visiting is on the list of phishing sites. It alerts you if you are on a malicious site. Install an antivirus software that has an anti-spyware that can prevent phishing attack. And most importantly, never ever give out personal information or financial information on the links that you have clicked from the site to prevent of being a victim of phishing scam.
Thank you, Miss Carillo. Now, Mr. Pagkaliwangan.
I'm back again, Mr. Ricky Pagkaliwangan. And I will discuss to you how to prevent celebrity name misuse. To prevent it, the celebrity must carefully protect their name in social media hackers. I think the best solution is to actually register the celebrity's name as trademark. And there are such questions that will verify the real identity of the user.
Thank you, Mr. Pagkaliwangan. So I think that would be helpful to our listeners. Last and but not the least, Miss Hilores.
So yes, thank you, Rain. So I'm back, guys. I'm the one who tackled about the fake news. So how can we prevent it? We can't prevent spreading fake news, but we can prevent ourselves from believing it. Simply by not believing it. Joke. But again, kidding aside, of course, we should look for evidences or proofs that it's true, or maybe just looking or reading news or articles from a reliable source. And that's all.
So, I think listeners, you've gained lesson, you've learned a lot with this talk. I would like to express my gratitude. I would like to express my thanks to our guest, Miss Hilores. Do you want to greet somebody or?
No.
How about you, Mr. Pagkaliwangan? Do you like
No.
to shout out or?
No.
So, thank you. Last, Miss Carillo. Do you...
So there, listeners, we hope that you've learned from what we talk about and what we discuss, and it can be a lesson to all of you. That's all.
So again, good morning, listeners. Again, I'm your host, Rainiel Albao. Until next time, thank you. Rainiel Albao signing off.